What's up guys, Mickle here, and right now a potential settlement meeting between Ripple and the SEC is going absolutely viral on X. In this video, I want to give you the truth about this settlement meeting, whether or not it's going to happen, whether or not I expect to see an actual settlement from this meeting happening, but most importantly, if I do not believe we're going to see a settlement here, or if this meeting is even real, what are some dates we can start looking to? Guys, we are almost at the end of the Ripple SEC case, and I think we need to start looking to when we should expect this thing to actually finish up. I want to show you exactly where I believe this case is going to end in correlation to the XRP price chart. Guys, I think what we're going to go over today is really going to open your eyes to how close we are to an explosive move in XRP. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who likes the videos and to subscribe to the channel. These things really do help me out so much. Also, guys, we go live almost every day now, and if you've been missing those live streams, make sure to turn bell notifications on so you do not miss out on those in the future. Last of all, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. As I want to start this video off and just quickly bring something to your attention because I think this is really starting to get a bit absurd. Earlier today, it kind of came across my mind that we actually had Gary Gensler called in front of Congress more under the prior administration than the current one. Now, this is absolutely embarrassing because right now Republicans own the House. Republicans can call Gary Gensler in front of Congress, and Republicans can issue a subpoena to attack Gary Gensler for his unlawful attack over the cryptocurrency industry. But what we have seen is they have absolutely failed to do that despite their countless promises. People like Tom Emmer promised a new day at the SEC, and instead we got the same exact thing, and unfortunately even worse than what was happening under the Democrats. Under the Democrats, Gary Gensler was called in front of Congress twice, and we actually got some very pointed questions about whether or not things like Ethereum were a security. But under the current administration, we have not seen absolutely anything. It is embarrassing. It stinks, especially with all the promise that essentially we were given in regards to a new day coming and holding Gary Gensler accountable. I just wanted to point this out because this has been one of the biggest disappointments for me. I really thought that we were going to see pressure put on Gary Gensler. I really thought we were going to see Congress crack down and start pushing on Gary Gensler to actually provide clarity to this industry. And I thought this might be a catalyst for essentially forcing the SEC's hand in some of these cases. Instead, we have seen the exact opposite. We have seen almost no pressure put on Gary Gensler. We have seen almost no effort by Congress to force Gary Gensler to stop attacking the good companies in the cryptocurrency industry and instead go after the bad ones. And ultimately, that has been one of the biggest disappointments for me over the last couple months and years, because I really did believe that if Congress stepped on Gary Gensler a bit, really made him uncomfortable, we could be in a position where Gary Gensler would be forced to get out of cases like the Ripple case and start pursuing cases that actually made sense. Regardless though, that's not where we are, and hopefully with the new SEC chair, we won't have to worry about this going forward. Hopefully we get a new administration. Hopefully we get a new SEC chair that is actually pro-crypto and pro-pushing regulations that can actually help this industry. But for now, unfortunately, this is where we are, and I just wanted to call this out because I think it's important that we hold both sides responsible when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Yes, the SEC right now is attacking the industry, but the Republicans who have power to put pressure on Gary Gensler really aren't doing anything to help. Now, I want to move on and talk about the potential settlement discussion that is going viral on X today. Almost everyone is talking about this, and I actually think there's a good reason why it's being brought up so often, but I need to bring some things to people's attention. So right now, people are going crazy over essentially a settlement discussion between Ripple and the SEC that's supposedly taking place tomorrow. Now, this source, right, is accurate. It came from the judge's website, but the problem is that this settlement talk has actually been removed from the actual schedule, just not from her online calendar. Essentially, this settlement discussion was between the SEC, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson. But if you remember correctly, the charges against Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson have already been dropped by the SEC. Why did the SEC drop these charges? Because essentially the SEC charged Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson for fraud, but never actually alleged fraud in their case. So they were really just trying to bully Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson into some kind of settlement in the early days. Who knows what their goal was, but essentially the SEC brought baseless claims against Brad and Chris, and therefore they were forced to drop the charges. Now, that means that this settlement discussion is no longer happening. Unfortunately, the judge never removed this from her calendar, so a lot of people saw this discussion taking place tomorrow and assumed this was a settlement discussion between Ripple and the SEC. But that is not what this was. This was a settlement discussion between Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson and the SEC. But those charges have already been dropped, and therefore this discussion is not going to happen. I just wanted to bring this to your attention because I see a lot of people talking about this, a lot of people hopeful that there will be a discussion tomorrow. That discussion is not happening. This has been removed from the case. The Ripple charges still are ongoing. The Brad and Chris charges are over, and therefore there is no settlement discussion between Brad, Chris, and the SEC. I wanted to bring that to your attention real quick because I see a lot of people getting really excited about this, and I don't want people to be overly disappointed when those settlement talks don't happen. Now, guys, it's important to understand settlement talks between the SEC and Ripple can happen at any point. They can get together at any point today if they wanted to and start talking settlement, but there is no pre-planned negotiation taking place. Now, with that said, a lot of people are probably asking, all right, then when can we see this case actually come to an end? What are some dates we can actually be looking forward if the dates we just talked about are not actually going to be taking place? Now, I wanted to share this chart with you because I think it's absolutely fascinating. I'm just starting off from the zoomed out chart to give you a high level overview of exactly everything we have seen before in the past with XRP and what could be possible in the future and how similar these formations have played out. This video is not about these formations. I think they're absolutely fascinating, but if we zoom in, we can take a look at what I really want to talk about, which is when we can see an end to the Ripple SEC case. Now, guys, right now, the Ripple SEC case is in its final stages, which I think a lot of you are going to be very, very happy to hear. And what I actually did on this chart was provide you this box. The start of this box is the last day in which documents are due in the Ripple SEC case. The last day for documents to be filed in the Ripple SEC case is actually May 6th, but I am going to assume that the SEC is going to ask for an extension because it's the SEC and that's what they like to do. Therefore, I am saying on this chart that the last day for documentation to be put into the Ripple SEC case is May 20th, the start of this box. And then from all the rest of the box going forward to the right, that is when I believe is prime time for Judge Torres to make a decision. I believe the end of this box is the last possible day Judge Torres would likely make her decision by, which is essentially the start of September. I believe Judge Torres is going to make her decision on this case between May 20th and September, and then the Ripple SEC case will officially be over. At some point in this box right here, we are going to see the Ripple SEC case over for good and XRP and Ripple to finally be out of this long-awaited mess, which I think is so exciting to think about, and we are right around the corner from it. And this is why I think it's important that people understand that despite the fact that those settlement talks we talked about earlier aren't actually happening, those are just rumors that turned out not to be true, we either way still are at a point in this case where we are very close to it wrapping up. Guys, what I really hope to see is XRP just regaining its foothold within this symmetrical triangle, and ultimately when we get the decision that this case is over, for XRP to really go parabolic out of here. I believe that's going to be the catalyst we ultimately need to send XRP to new all-time highs. Now, with that said, I want to show you another chart that I also think is lining up in a very interesting way to everything we just talked about here. But the last comment I want to make, and I want you to remember this for when we go to the next chart, is that once the final documentation is submitted on May 20th, we essentially have an 100-day period in which we're waiting for Judge Torres to make her decision. Now, guys, remember that for when we go over to this next chart, and this next chart is actually XRP against Bitcoin. What you are seeing is XRP right now against Bitcoin is coming down to a historical floor that XRP has never broken below, and a floor that has sent XRP parabolic against Bitcoin every single time it has come down here. Now, every single time XRP to Bitcoin has come down to these levels, there's essentially been a 60 to 100 day consolidation period where the chart hung out down here before going absolutely parabolic and putting in monumental green candles, causing an XRP explosion on the price chart. What we are seeing is XRP is at that moment right about now. XRP is starting its consolidation pattern right on this floor that has historically sent XRP parabolic. Guys, I really do believe this is playing out perfectly with the other price chart. XRP is consolidating right on this floor that 3 out of 3 times has sent XRP ripping upward thousands of percents. And at the same exact time, we see XRP is coming to the end of this symmetrical triangle at the exact time we are expecting a ruling in the Ripple SEC case. Guys, it seems like no matter where you look, everything is lining up perfectly for XRP to explode out of here to new all-time highs. XRP's fundamentals have never looked better. Builders and projects are coming to the chain at record speeds that we have never seen before. Ripple is making outstanding progress behind the scenes in making cryptocurrencies adopted by the traditional financial institutions. At the same exact time, Ripple is getting out of the case against the SEC. XRP is one of the few cryptocurrencies with proven clarity in the market. Guys, things have never looked better for this asset. The rest of the cryptocurrency market is blind. They are FOMOing into meme coins. They are FOMOing into JPEGs. Meanwhile, the utility is right in front of them and they can't see it. Guys, when XRP makes its big move, I think a lot of the mainstream media is going to suddenly pick up on it at much higher prices. And all the people who've been fudding XRP at the current levels are going to say that they are buying XRP in the $10 to $15 range. Guys, let's see how this plays out. But when you combine all the facts and circumstances we have talked about in this video, I think it is impossible not to be incredibly bullish on what is right around the corner. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.